Alright, now settle down. Turn in your papers and take out your homework from last week. Everyone in? Very good. Yes, very good. Now, welcome to another class in the Tactician School of Battling. Now, if you're looking for Singles 101, you're in the wrong class. That's further down the hall and to the left. I believe Lenoa is running that class. But in any case, we're going to be discussing a very, very important topic today in class. Very, very important. Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking about weather and how it affects the ever-changing field of the battlefield. Emphasis on changing. We will also be including the weather of the primal Pokemon in today's class. So keep your notebooks out and get ready to take even more notes. Now, we have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Now, before we begin today's lesson, keep this in mind, since we are talking about weather. Any weather that deals damage to Pokemon will not affect Pokemon with the ability Overcoat or Magikarp, or is holding the safety goggle item. Now, our first weather we will be looking at is the Sandstorm weather. One of the more common Sandstorm's abilities, especially for Rock-type Pokemon and Ground-type Pokemon. A Sandstorm will deal all Pokemon that are not of the Rock, Ground, or Steel type or have an ability that activates with the Sandstorm 1/16 of their total health each turn. If you happen to have the ability Sand Veil while in a Sandstorm, your evasion will increase by 20%. If you also have the ability Sand Rush while in a Sandstorm, your speed stat will be doubled. And if you have the ability Sand Force, the power of your Rock, Ground, and Steel type moves will be increased by 30%. Isn't that special, Tacticians? Furthermore, the special defense of all Rock-type Pokemon is increased by 50%, and the move Weather Ball will be changed to a Rock type and double in power. Ooh, isn't that special, my Tacticians? Ooh. Finally, for those who use the move Solar Beam and Solar Blade, the damage of this move is reduced sadly by 50%, and the moves Morning Sun, Synthesis, and Moonlight will only recover 1/4 their max health instead of the usual 50%. Moving on to Hail, the only Pokemon that won't be hurt are Ice types, or have the abilities Ice Body, Snow Cloak, or Slush Rush. If they aren't one of these, they will receive 1/16 damage based on their maximum health at the end of each turn. Now, if the Pokemon happens to have the ability Ice Body while in a Hail, they will recover 1/16 their max health each turn. Now, if the Pokemon has the ability Snow Cloak in a Hail, their evasion increases by 20%. And if a Pokemon has the ability Slush Rush, their speed is doubled while in a Hail. Ooh. Now, during a Hail, the move Blizzard has a 100% accuracy rating and will bypass the evasion stat. So for those of you who want to evade your opponent, don't try it. Now, the move Weather Ball will change to an Ice typing, and it will double in power, and similar to Sandstorm, Solar Beam and Solar Blade will deal 50% less damage, and the moves Synthesis, Morning Sun, and Moonlight will only recover 1/4 the user's total health. And now, continuing on with our weathers, we move on to the Rain weather, or Rain Dance as it's more commonly known by its TM. Rain offers no direct harmful effects, but has curious side effects for many Pokemon. Starting off, all Water-type moves increase in power by 50%, while Fire-type moves and the moves Solar Beam and Solar Blade decrease in power by 50%. Next, the accuracy of moves Hurricane and Thunder become 100%, bypassing the evasion stat to always hit. A Pokemon with the ability Dry Skin will recover 1/8 their health each turn while it is raining, and Pokemon with the ability Swift Swim will have their speed stat doubled while it is raining. Isn't that special? Now, listen up very carefully again. Now, the move Weather Ball will change to a water type and double in power. And finally, like the previous weathers, move Synthesis, Morning Sun, and Moonlight will only recover 1/4 the user's total health. Yes, very, very impressive, isn't it? And now, the fourth weather we are covering is the Harsh Sunlight weather, or more commonly seen as Sunny Day by its move and TM. Now, like the rain, Harsh Sunlight increases the power of Fire-type moves by 50%, while reducing the power of Water moves by 50%. Furthermore, the accuracy of the moves Thunder and Hurricane lower to 50%. But, on the other hand, Solar Beam, and by contrast Solar Blade, will not require any charging and instead allow the user to attack straight away. In comparison, of course, Pokemon with the Dry Skin ability will lose 1/8 their health in Harsh Sunlight, and Pokemon with the ability Chlorophyll will have their speed stat doubled in Harsh Sunlight. And of course, the move Weather Ball becomes a Fire type and doubles in damage, and finally, the moves Synthesis, Moonlight, and Morning Light will instead recover 2/3 of the user's max health instead of just 1/2. And as another side note, using the corresponding Z crystal with any of the TMs of these weather moves will increase the user's speed stat by 1 stage, including setting up the weather. Isn't that exciting? Ooh, yes, very, very simple. Now, wasn't that very, very simple? Yes it was. Remember, my Tacticians, weather is a very complicated factor of the battlefield, but if you only concern yourself with one weather at a time, you can simplify everything and make it very, very simple for you to use to your own advantages. Now then, moving on to the Weather Trio, or the Primal Pokemon's Weather as they are more commonly known, we will first examine Kyogre's Primordial Sea. Now, the Primordial Sea works the same way as regular rain does, with all the benefits, but has some more additional effects. The first of these effects is that so long as Primal Kyogre remains on the field and no other super weathers appear, the rain will remain permanent until the Pokemon is KO'd or switched out. Second, all Fire-type attacks will fizzle out and have no effect, meaning they won't work under any condition. Finally, the heavy rain cannot be replaced by any regular weather condition, including the moves and abilities that would otherwise set up a new weather. Moving on to Primal Groudon and the Desolate Land ability, Primal Groudon creates extremely harsh sunlight, and it works the same as regular harsh sunlight but with additional effects. It's similar to Primordial Sea, Desolate Land cannot be replaced except by another super weather and remains on the field until Primal Groudon is KO'd or swapped out. Weather attacks will evaporate and have no effect in battle, meaning they won't work under any condition. And just like Primordial Sea, all other weather setting moves and abilities will fail if attempted. The final weather we will be looking at is the Delta Stream, a very rare weather occurrence that only occurs when Mega Rayquaza is on the field. Now, while the Delta Stream is active, similar to the Primordial Sea and the Desolate Land, the only weather effect that can occur is the Delta Stream, as long as the wielder is on the field, and it can only be replaced by a similar super weather ability. The second thing is that all electric, ice, and rock type moves will deal neutral damage to any flying type Pokemon in battle instead of dealing super effective damage while the Delta Stream is in effect. And finally, just like with the other two primal abilities, Delta Stream cancels out any other weather setting ability or move attempted. Yes, this is all very interesting, and I hope you all learned about weathers and how you can set them up. Certain Pokemon with abilities can set up these weather effects without the need of a TM move, but At the same time, you can use those TM moves along with a Z crystal to give you some extra speed, while perhaps even increasing your power at the same time. Ooh, this makes me excited. Oh, but listen, it's all very complicated. But if you restrict yourself to one weather, you can make yourself a powerful weather team that not only controls it, but adapts to your playstyle. Alrighty class, now please remember your notes and make sure to brush up on the history of weather Pokemon starting from Generation